All right, moving on to lecturette 5. We're going to talk about how blood returns to the heart. Now, when we talk about blood flow back to the heart, you have to remember, right, is we have an obstacle. It's called gravity, okay? And so especially majority of our body is below the heart, okay? And so we now have to fight gravity to get blood back to the heart. So if you imagine fighting gravity in regards to blood, there's going to be a lot of backflow, okay? Because, you know, objects want to fall down. So there's 3 mechanisms that allow us now to get blood back against gravity into the heart so that it can be now put back into circulation, right? And so these mechanisms, and I'll go through them one by one, is something called one-way valves. We have a muscular pump, and then there's a respiratory pump. And for the respiratory pump, I'm not going to talk about it here because we'll cover it in lab. All right, now let's talk about the muscle pump and then also these valves, these one-way valves. And so interestingly, if you look at how the veins are arranged in the body, is that they're always between muscles, yes? And so it allows us now, when we have movement, right? Every time we contract and relax muscle, is that when we contract, we're squeezing the vessel, right? So if this is a vein, I'm squeezing the vein, and that squeezing gives us a pressure system. A pressure system allows us to inject blood upward, okay? Now, once the muscle relaxes, blood is going to want to come down. So that's where these valves come in, okay? And so when we contract muscle, I can push blood up, the valves are open, and then what's going to happen when the muscle relaxes, when blood comes back down, these cups, they're like cups, they'll close, yes? And then blood will stay right here. So inches by inches, blood can climb as soon as I move. This is why, too, when you're on a long plane ride, you get edema if you don't move around, is because your blood now is just pooling in your extremities. Your feet and your ankles can swell sometimes. So it's good to move your feet around, contract your muscles at least. You don't have to move around. You don't have to get out of your seat, but you can contract, relax your muscles. Allows you to kind of inch up blood so it can get back into your circulatory system. Now let's talk about these one-way valves a little bit in more detail. And these are only in medium-sized veins, okay? And so here I can have now, as soon as blood is ejected up, it will now, when blood comes down, form a cup to catch it. So I don't get that backflow, okay? But individuals that have varicose veins, and if you don't know what varicose veins are, you can look it up on the web, type in varicose veins and put images. And what happens with people with varicose veins is you can actually see their veins. Okay, I couldn't help myself. I pressed pause in the recording, and what I did is I went online and I want to show you folks a picture of varicose veins, and this is what it looks like, right? So what's happening here is the one-way valves of the vein are getting compromised, right? And so instead of now having this cups to catch the blood, right, the cup or the backflow valves are broken, right? And then what's going to happen now is blood's going to flow back down. It's going to start to pool, right? And so that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing pooling of blood, and you can see now the whole outline of people's veins. And so for me, I don't know, in the summer, you know, people are using shorts, and I just kind of stare because I think it's beautiful. So if you have varicose veins, you're beautiful, right? You can see the body at work. All right, that's it for this lecturette. Next up, we're going to have a very short lecturette 6, and we're going to talk about cardiovascular disease.